The Christmas table looked perfect from the outside. Plates served, cutlery clinking, overlapping conversations trying a little too hard, forced laughter filling the air. Then her mother smiled, casual, almost innocent, and asked, "Your sister's wedding was beautiful. And yours?" A brief pause followed, just long enough to feel the weight of feeling unseen. She answered calmly, politely even, "Mine already happened." The silence that came next wasn't awkward, it was heavy. In that moment, emotional abandonment stopped being a theory and became something you could feel in your chest. And the unspoken question hung there, loud and uncomfortable. How does an entire family pretend a marriage never existed? There's a myth most people grow up believing without question. Family always wants what's best for you. If they didn't show up, they were distracted. Holidays mean unity, forgiveness, and unconditional love. But for those who live with family rejection pain, that myth slowly cracks. Some families don't love people. They love appearances, narratives, and roles that must stay intact. Her family worked like a storefront window. Everything had to look polished from the outside, even if there was nothing behind the glass. As long as she played her part, quiet, adaptable, always overlooked, she belonged. The moment she built a life that didn't fit the display, the affection thinned. That's when emotional clarity starts to hurt before it heals. And this story isn't really about a wedding. It's about being never chosen, about erasure disguised as politeness, about growing up craving validation and realizing too late that silence was the answer all along. From early on, she didn't receive a dramatic label or a single explosive moment of family rejection pain. What she got was quieter, a role. One daughter became the center of gravity, while the other learned how to orbit without colliding. That's how emotional abandonment often works. No shouting, no slamming doors, just a slow lesson in feeling unseen. Her parents repeated the same lines like they were compliments. "You're strong. Your sister needs more." Over time, strength stopped sounding like praise and started sounding like permission to ignore her. This is how someone becomes always overlooked without anyone admitting it. She once explained it simply. She was the background of the family photo. Remove her, no one notices. Let her step forward, and suddenly she ruins the picture. Many recognize themselves here. The ones who always understood, always ceded, always carried quiet strength. That invisible role didn't stay in childhood. It followed her into adulthood. She became the one who didn't ask for help, didn't insist, didn't occupy space. Years of feeling unseen taught her that needs were negotiable and presence was conditional. From the outside, it looked like independence. Inside, it was love with conditions. The cost of emotional abandonment is learning that support feels like a favor, not a right. For those who spent years craving validation, silence becomes familiar, almost expected. She used a metaphor that made people smile, then pause. She said she became the spare tire of the family. No one drives with it, but everyone assumes it'll be there when something breaks. And eventually, the spare tire wonders what happens if it stops waiting. Leaving didn't look dramatic. A new city, meaningful work, a relationship where love wasn't a performance. Outside the family system, she wasn't auditioning for belonging, she simply existed. The contrast was unsettling. Outside, presence was natural. Inside, presence was evaluated. That's when setting boundaries with family stopped sounding cruel and started sounding necessary. Choosing self-respect over family often feels like betrayal, until it feels like oxygen. She described it like stepping out of a windowless room and realizing the world always had air. That's healing from family trauma. Relief mixed with grief for the years you didn't know you were holding your breath. The wedding was simple and real. Invitations were sent early, delivery confirmed. Still, there were no replies, no questions, no comments. Silence arrived neatly wrapped in politeness. What hurt wasn't logistics, it was recognition. When your life no longer serves the family narrative, Emotional abandonment shows up as indifference. You're not rejected loudly, you're ignored quietly. She compared it to an inconvenient email left unread. They didn't miss her wedding, they dismissed it. And for someone always overlooked, that realization brings emotional clarity you can't undo. Criticism still acknowledges you. Silence erases you. Calls went unanswered. Messages stayed unread. The family group chat remained quiet, not by accident, but by agreement. Each unanswered attempt reinforced the same lesson she learned early on. Her presence was optional. For someone who spent a lifetime craving validation, silence cuts deeper than anger. That's when she understood. The silence wasn't forgetfulness, it was positioning. And realizing that requires quiet strength, the kind that prepares you to start walking away from family emotionally. The house looked perfect, decorations flawless, conversations shallow. Then the question came, light and careless. Your sister's wedding was wonderful. And yours? Her answer was calm. Mine already happened. No confrontation, no volume, just truth. Emotional clarity doesn't shout, it stands. She didn't stop loving them. She stopped lying. That moment carried the quiet power of silent revenge, choosing yourself without needing permission. Here's the final myth. Family is defined by blood. Reality is simpler. Family is who shows up, who listens, who doesn't erase you. Blood explains biology, not belonging. She didn't lose her family that night. She stopped begging for a chair at a table where she was never meant to sit. That's self-respect over family. That's choosing a chosen family. That's healing from family trauma. So ask yourself, where are you still shrinking to be tolerated? Where are you confusing silence with love? And what changes when you stop waiting to be chosen and choose yourself instead?